Hi class, hope you're ready because today we're going to learn a little bit about music. Now learning music is like learning a whole new language. And when you learn this language, you can interact with people and share music, and anyone can enjoy that music because everyone speaks the same language when it comes to music. Now music is very important, it's used every day, and everyone enjoys music at some point and someday, I feel like. And today I just want to share my love for it and show you a little bit of intro things of how music works. Now, I hope from this lesson today that you learn how music works a little bit within things we call clefs and how things called notes lay out in these clefs. Now I'll teach you a little bit about symbols that represent these clefs, how the notes work, what represents these notes. Now, what is a note and what is a clef? A note is a sound that has a pitch or a tone, and there are 7 notes. Each of these 7 notes are represented by letters A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And we draw these notes on clefs. Now, a clef is a series of 5 lines, like we have here, and we use different symbols for these lines to tell them apart. This is the treble clef. E, sorry, my handwriting is not that good. And this is the bass clef. Now, let's practice drawing this. I'm going to hand you a piece of manuscript paper and a pencil. Now, manuscript paper is paper that already has these lines printed and spaced out for us on the paper. And we always want to use pencil because if you use pen, you can make a mistake and you might need to erase. So let's practice drawing these symbols. When we want to draw the treble clef symbol, we're going to start in the middle here and make a nice big curve, come to the top, and make a little loop, and then come down with a little upward swipe at the end, a little tail on it. Now, I'm not the best at drawing it, but it gets better with time. Now, with the bass clef, I'm going to start with a little kind of half curve at the top, and then just kind of come down like that, and 2 dots. And that's your bass clef. Now, I want you to practice drawing it yourself, and I'll give you some time, and then I want you to show me your work. Okay guys, after looking at a few of these, I see that some of the treble clef symbols maybe have little funny loops in them on some of them. So I'm going to go through it one more time just with the treble clef because it's a little more tricky than the bass clef, and I will go a little slower this time and make sure you pay attention so you see how these loops work for the symbol. So you want to start in the middle and really round that off, and then head up and curve and go down, just like that. You think you got it? Good. All right. Well, just practice that in your free time at home, and I know that you'll get it down. That's that one. We'll have both of those stay up there. Now, let's talk about how the notes line up along these clefs. Now, as we said before, each of the 7 notes have letters that correspond, that represent these notes. So the way that we read them is from the bottom up. So with the treble clef, going from the bottom line up, each line has a letter, starting with E. G, B, D, and F. Now, the spaces are F, A, C, and E, or face, which which is a good way to remember it. And a popular way to remember the lines is every good boy does fine. Now that's a pretty, well-known one, but for an activity today, I want you to think of your own acronym or phrase and have a phrase that is going to be funny or something that makes you laugh that you will always remember to help you out with this. So now I'll take a little bit of time and have you write something down, or you don't have to actually write it down, just think of something and come up with a good series of words or a sentence or really anything that just clicks that will represent these letters within these spaces and along these lines. Well, it seems we have a couple good ones here. And for example, we have every green bus drives fast. I really like that one. All right, well, now moving on, doing the same thing with the bass clef, because we only want to associate that first acronym or phrase with the treble clef. That was the treble clef that we remembered. So moving on to the bass clef, the same concept applies, but different letters, different group of letters. So the lines on the bass clef are going to read G, B, D, F, and A. And then the spaces will read A, C, E, and P. Now, a couple good ones for these are great big dogs fight animals, which is one I like. Or, and for the spaces, we have all cars eat gas. Now, what does this mean? Why do we need to know this? Well, when we put symbols along these lines, it will tell us what note it is. It will tell us what letter. Now this symbol along this bottom line, we know from earlier, is an E. But if we were to put that same symbol on the same line on the bass clef, it's not the same note. It is now a G, because the treble and the bass clef have their own set of letters. They have their own notes. So now when we see this, if we had notes all along this, and say you had a piano or whatever kind of instrument, knowing how to read this and seeing this tells you what you need to play, tells you what music you need to make. So now we know a little bit about the treble and the bass clef, and we know what the lines in these clefs represent. And together, these clefs are called the grand staff. Grand staff. Now, I hope from all this, guys, you've learned a little bit about music, just a little intro into how to read music, and I hope you practice this at home, get well acquainted with it, because music is so important in the world, like I stated before, and it just brings so much enjoyment and happiness to people's lives. And really, one really cool thing is that no matter where you are, everyone speaks the same language when it comes to music. And music that you enjoy and may hear can be read and enjoyed by someone anywhere else in the world. And I just want to leave you with a good quote, one of my favorite quotes about music by the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, and that is, without music, life would be a mistake. And I truly believe that. Thank you.